a good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Sun is shining up here in North Georgia. I know I'm your host BKP, and I know there's a lot of weather reports with scattered storms and things like that, but they're moving through, so there's no reason you can't come up to the North Georgia mountains and enjoy this beautiful Memorial Day weekend. We have a 3-day weekend in front of us. Memorial Day will be remembering the fallen men and women that have give their lives Monday so that we may have our freedom today. You know, I think it's pretty, it goes hand in hand. You can make parallels on so many different things, but Memorial Day weekend going hand in hand with so many high school graduations. I'm not saying anything negative on a college graduation, but high school graduations on Memorial Day weekend, and seeing the young people that'll be walking across the stage, given the opportunity to live, achieve, obtain the American dream. Yes, the American dream, it's still alive, and the men and women that have given their life, that you can walk across that stage, get that diploma, and step out and have the opportunities that you have in this country. I think it's neat that goes hand in hand. It just does for me. JR, are you here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, JR's in the house. Amanda, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, Amanda is here. Rick will be here soon for the All-Star Political Panel at 8:45. That's always a great episode or a segment that we do. We thank you for watching that. We always round out our week with our pet of the week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, and at 8:15 we have Ask the Doc. We have some great questions this morning for our doctor. Now, let's see, it's Friday, 3-day weekend. I call it the parade. Today starts the parade, okay? The parade will start here any time now around noon, about 2 o'clock today. 515 North will be bumper to bumper with campers heading north to set up for the summer, kayaks, boats, you name it, trailers. The parade starts heading up here in the mountains, and there's so much to do. All right, how do I want to get started this morning? Class of 2018. Now, first of all, you know, while the other networks are betting against America, are you not kind of tired of it? Are you not tired of accidentally stumbling across MSNBC and they spend the entire day betting against America, okay? Stumbling across CNN and they're betting against America. I mean, can't we be positive every once in a while and bet on America, how great it is? I don't know. But while those other networks are betting against America, I just don't like when our politicians and our elected officials bet against America also. I thought it was, you know, we bring up, I'm trying to stay positive, so we bring up Nancy Pelosi, so that's not very positive. And yesterday, Nancy Pelosi said, quote, she was giddy. Do you ever see Nancy, minority leader in the House? You ever see her when she gets giddy? And Nancy Pelosi, you ever see Nancy Pelosi when she enjoys the something negative happening where our president is concerned? Well, yesterday, Nancy Pelosi comes out based on the cancellation of the North Korean summit, and she talks about, and she's just giddy and laughing, and she talks about how Kim Jong-un got over on our president, and how Kim Jong-un, and this is her quote, is actually having probably a giggle fit over how he played Donald Trump. And I'm sitting there saying, you know what? Do you forget there's 3 Americans that are free? Do you forget that? I mean, I don't want to say if nothing else happens in North Korea. Do you forget that 3 Americans traveled home and are free? Do you forget that the North Korean and South Korean president and a North Korean dictator, for the first time since the 50s, stepped across the border with each other and met at the demilitarized zone? Do you forget all of these pluses? Now, we know who Kim Jong-un is, and we know the North Korean dictator and regime wants to have some kind of negotiating power, and we knew they would flex what muscle they have. But the President of the United States said, look, I'm not going to play your games. We're not going to the meeting, and I'm going to ratchet up intense sanctions and pressure on you. And we're not going to the meeting. All right? So, hey, we'll talk about that with the All-Star panel. But let's be positive. Let me switch gears before I get Dr. Whaley in here. Class of 2018. Now, FetcherNews.com, we will eventually, next year, highlight hopefully more schools. So out there, we're going to continue to grow this program. But it's graduation time is when our identity, FetcherNews.com, our identity, our purpose surface. I mean, there's times as the CEO of this company that I sit throughout the year and there's certain events that bring home our identity of who we are at FetcherNews.com, being a part of the community. It's certain things that happen that our purpose comes all the way to the top and comes to the light of what we're here to do every day. Now, sometimes 8 to 10, you think I'm here just to talk politics 7 days a week, and I do enjoy that and give my opinion, okay? But FetcherNews.com is always dedicated to being part of the community we serve. The class of 2018, for several years, we document the day of a graduate. And I don't have time, and I don't want anybody upset, I don't have time to do dozens or hundreds of young people that we've watched walk across the stage at this company. 2018, what we do, we will do Union County this year, Fannin County, Gilmer County, and Pickens County. We will do the graduation. And we call it documenting the day. So we have somebody out there, and when the kids drive up in the parking lot and they're getting out and they got their cap and gown over their shoulder and they're walking into that high school for the last time, we take a bunch of pictures, they smile. 4 or 5 of the guys and young ladies, they get together and they, put their arms around each other and smile. Mom and dad drop the graduate off tonight, and mom gets out and gives the graduate a hug, knowing this is, hey, when I see you again, you're going to be walking across the stage with that diploma, all right? And mom knows how hard it was to drag BKP through the line, all right? In school. So anyhow, we get a picture of that hug. Then the kids go into school and they do a little horsing around while they're waiting, and they get antsy because this is a big day, and they get together and we take a bunch of pictures in there, and then we go down on the field to take pictures. We will upload approximately for each graduation 1,500 pictures. For each graduation. Upload them. And it's their day. And we give them to the graduates, we give them to the grandparents, we give them to the moms and dads, aunts and uncles. Go on, they're yours. But let me bring it home of where that is so important on who we are as a company, our purpose. And I want to bring up a couple young people, because it's 2018, and there's an interesting thing about this class that I want to talk about in a minute. But there's a young man down at Pickens that I took pictures of one year that walked across the stage, and his name's Jordan Hill. And Jordan Hill today is the head of the sports department down in Columbus, Georgia, of a major newspaper, and he started writing sports for Team FYN Sports in the 10th grade. And I watched him walk across, I took pictures, and now he is down there at Columbus, Georgia, and at the newspaper, and he's the head of their sports department. Next year, if things work out, we may be real close to watching Shannon Brooks be an NFL running back. If the good Lord's willing and the young man stays healthy, I think we might see Shannon Brooks in the NFL as a running back. I remember as a sophomore junior and a senior taking that young man's picture and watching him play football. You know, I understand this young lady may be on the Olympic team, may be on the women's basketball Olympic team, may be trying out for it. Sarah Smith. I watched Sarah Smith play all 4 years, and I'll never forget watching Sarah go across that stage and taking pictures of her, and I have those pictures of her graduation. Garrett Sellers, young man down at Gilmer County that I watched all those years, a great, outstanding center, went on to the Naval Academy, got accepted into the Naval Academy, played football up there a couple years, and is now a high school football coach. I go on the sideline now and I see this young man, and he's on the high school football coaching staff at one of the local schools here, and it's just I don't know, I just can't say the emotions I have when I see that young man on the field. But I remember the day taking pictures of that young man graduating, okay? And then there's a young man that's going to graduate tonight. I want to highlight one guy that's going to graduate tonight up in Union County. And the point I'm making today is when we watch these young people go across the stage and we take all these pictures, we have future doctors, we have future lawyers, we have future construction workers, we have future veterinarians, we have future athletes. The list goes on and on, but when they walk across the stage, we don't know. And that's the joy we have watching these kids excel and step out into the world, and we're able to see them living the American dream and achieving what they want. There's a young man up in Union County, his name's Cole Wright. Tonight we'll take pictures of Cole Wright. Cole Wright is going to cross that stage, and the next time we see Cole Wright, he will be at West Point. He is going to West Point, and tonight he'll graduate from Union County. So I'm looking forward to several years from now seeing what great things Cole Wright achieves. I've got a last but not least. And my last but not least, there's a pretty good reason why I picked this one to be last. Is because when we watch those kids go across the stage and we take their picture and they turn and everybody's in the stand and they're cheering and they're getting their high school diploma, we don't know where we're going to see them next. And I thought it was interesting because 2 years ago, I remember this young man. He walked across the stage and he got his diploma, and he was wearing his green from the Pickens Dragons, and we got all kinds of pictures. And just this week, this was 2 years ago at 18 years old, just this week, this 20-year-old young man, full-time student at UGA, was elected to office to be a member of the Pickens County Board of Education, and that would be Tucker Green. 20 years old, is now a member of the Pickens County Board of Education just this week. So let me just say, there are thousands of graduates, and I could not begin to highlight all the great young men and women that have walked across that stage that us at Fetcher News have been a part of, being able to document your day. And I didn't mean to leave out anybody that has, there's so many of them that have achieved so many great things. But the class of 2018, all the others before you are great, but there's something about the class of 2018. You are the class that steps out into the brightest future of America that I've seen, and I don't know how long. Not to be negative, class of 2010, just 8 years ago, walked across the stage, headed off to college, and basically stepped into a world where we were in somewhat of a depression. And they went off to college, and then they got out of college, this class of 2008, 2009. They got out of college, you couldn't find jobs, okay? But the class of 2018, these young men and young women have one of the brightest futures that I can't remember the last time graduates are going to have this opportunity to walk across the street. And see, here's the great thing. And this is where, and I've got to go because I got to get Dr. Whaley in here, but here's the great thing about this class. You are sitting at a unique time where some things have turned back around in this country, and I don't mean just economically. We went through a time in this country where obviously the generation of the 70s wanted their kids to go to college. And in the 70s, let's say the 70s for the most part, we started seeing families with the first college graduate. And it was very proud. Mom and dad showed up, and this is the first graduate in the family to go to college, first one to go to college. So we got past that generation, the first to go to college. Then it became important that you had to go to college. Mom and dad said, when you graduate high school, you have to get a 4-year degree. It's a must. So we got to get every kid into college. And we've gone through that. And this is not a negative, but you are back to a point where young men and young women out there, if you take your high school diploma and you go to the right places, you will be able to get a good job. There was a time in the 60s, if you had a high school diploma, you could get out and get a good job, okay? And not have to go to college. Please don't take that wrong. But class of 2018, you are in the driver's seat. You could actually pick a trade. You can pick a trade. You can go to a technical school that will have an apprentice program that will get you into something that you can make a great living at, and you don't have to have the 4-year college degree. Because let me tell you something, and I'm going to take a break on this.
What about the military?
Military, thank you, Dr. Whaley. Absolutely. Dr. Whaley pulled in the military. But let me tell you this. You know, class of 2018, somebody has to drive the garbage truck. Somebody has to drive the delivery truck. Bottom line, has to. Can't order furniture and not expect somebody to put it on a truck and bring it to your house. Somebody has to do all of these different jobs. You just be the best at it. Okay? So don't ever let anybody say, if you go over and get your CDL and you take a class and you go through the training and you get your CDL and you're driving a truck today, let me tell you something. You just be the best at it and be very proud to drive that truck. But if you're going across the stage and you're going over to a 4-year college and you want to be a doctor, as we're going to have Dr. Whaley, just be the best. Class of 2018, this might be the brightest future you've walked into and the greatest opportunities you have. I'm going to take a break because I get so emotional with these young people through graduation and just enjoy it so much. We're going to have Dr. Whaley on the other side of this break.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge, we have your new house in stock.
Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ella. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I've had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at Circuit World here, and it will be a beautiful weekend. We know we got some storms coming through, but don't let that deter you, stop you, or slow you down from getting to the mountains this beautiful Memorial Day weekend. It's now time for Ask the Doc. We want to thank Georgia Cancer Specialists, affiliated with Northside Hospital, for this segment, and we're glad to have you back, Dr. Whaley. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm glad to be back. If it rains, it's just going to pull the pollen out of the air. It's sunny 5 minutes after the rainstorm, so don't let that bug you a bit.
Pretty simple. The doctor said rain pulls pollen out of the air. 5 minutes later, sunshine, and get on up here.
All right, do it.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Got my, when I put my doctor thought I put my daggum flag tie on because I was so proud of Mr. Trump for pushing Rocket Man around, and I listened to you talk about Pelosi. But we don't need to talk about Trump and pushing Rocket Man around today. I want to jump all over you like a dirty shirt, and I'm going to criticize you. Can I criticize him?
Yes.
Okay, I'll begin.
Should I say, this is a recliner. Should I put my feet up and just take a...
No. You probably ought to take an aspirin. But I'll begin by saying you spoke for a while about people getting a CDL as if that's common jargon for the average guy on the street. It's a common jargon for you, and I would like to let the audience know he means a commercial driver's license for a truck. And he means that that's a degree of training beyond this high school diploma.
Correct.
And that what he was trying to say and stumbled over so badly is that, you like that part?
No, it's
is
great.
that unemployment is at an all-time low. I read yesterday that Amazon's technical center in Atlanta has 500 or so technical people there that work on their worldwide cloud, whatever that is, and they have 50 unfilled jobs that they're unable to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't require that you have a college degree in computer science or something. They require that you have some degree of facility with mathematics and computational skills that you'd have to get somewhere by going and learning them. So you were talking about the CDL, and I screamed across the room, the military, because you made every correct thing about this. Technical schools here in the mountains within 20 miles in each direction where you can go take nursing courses, you can learn how to be a diesel mechanic. I know that Delta needs jet mechanics that used to go and work at Lockheed, then jump over to Delta. But you really did forget, I think, the best, easiest to follow course of training is to actually go in the military.
I agree with that.
If you can pass the mental and physical tests, you've got to be fit. Did you know that 40% of the people that go to get in the military can't pass the physical test because of their weight or their lack of fitness? But if you get in the military, they can teach you to be a jet mechanic. They can teach you to be a computer guy. There's some fellow with a high school diploma out in Kansas flying those drones over Iraq and Afghanistan. And when you've done that for 3 or 4 years, you've served your country, you've seen the world, and you're very hireable. So the unemployment's the lowest it's ever been. And they've got so many jobs out there that can't be filled, but they need, the day you got out of high school, it's not over. That's just the ticket to the next place you go to learn something. So it's a great opportunity. There's this great big balloon, and it's ready to take you up in the air, but you got to take the next step. And you hit it all on the head, except for the jargon.
Yeah,
but
but
you
do you
forgot
not?
the military.
Yeah, but do you not think that this class, before we get into our questions, this class, there's something a little different with this class here, as far as, like you said, you take a young man or young lady that has worked on the computers, studied computers, and actually these young people know computers, don't even have to walk into a college, that know them inside and out, and some of them can even start writing code.
That's right.
That they could walk in and go to a higher level training, not quote 4 years of college, to an Amazon that will take them now.
Right on the spot. 50
Right?
There's 50 high-paying jobs available today in Atlanta.
Right. And then when I said, you're right, a commercial driver's license, I couldn't be any more, you're 100% right. A commercial driver's license, okay?
Yeah. I think everybody knows what the FBI and the IRS is.
Right,
CDL
but,
will know.
but,
Right.
but you know, and I think we both agree that the opportunities coming out of college to use your degree and have a job for you, or even at 2018 going across the high school stage, this is a big year for these young people.
Oh, no, I don't think it's been brighter. I don't think it's been brighter since immediately after World War II would have been the best, where everything was open to you. But this is a great opportunity. Our economy is booming. We've got a president that's standing up for us. I think that there's not a way in the world that you can mess it up unless you don't have the energy or the stick-to-itiveness. I hate to say it, but there are too many drugs out there, and the guys that are not doing the right thing, then they're not going to be successful. But I think
Okay, let's get
I ran into a kid at the workout shop the other day who's one of our local high school kids, who graduates, I guess, tonight, who is finishing his first semester at Georgia Tech in Atlanta and pitching for the baseball team.
Yeah, that's Will Shirer.
I didn't want to mention a name.
Oh, no, I know Will. No, I know his dad.
Okay, but what I'm trying to
Will.
say
Yeah.
is that if you've been watching the newspapers in the last few days, the salutatorian and the valedictorian of all of these greater Atlanta high schools, there's one of them that's never attended a class in the high school that's the valedictorian, because every class they've taken since they entered is at the college, and they get all this extra credit. So I'm gratified at the number of people at these mountain schools here who are simultaneously enrolled in the high school and in a local college and are getting college credit while they're in high school, meaning that they are going to get some education they don't have to pay tuition for.
Exactly.
So they don't have to borrow money. So anyway, the opportunities are out there.
The
You just got to want
opportunities,
it.
dual
That's all I'm
enrollment.
saying.
Yeah, I know Will very well. I watched him pitch for years. Know his dad, and I know he went down to Georgia Tech, and I know he's a left-hander, and I know that as a sophomore up in the box, we were clocking him at 91 and 92.
Well, all I'm saying is the
I'm
kids,
sorry, you just got me started.
Yeah, the kid's taking advantage of opportunities and had enough, was educated well enough to be able to get in Georgia Tech. I mean, that ain't chopped liver.
Exactly.
Yeah, the average college board down there is 1480. It's higher than it is in Ivy League schools. All
Okay.
right, let's go to work.
We can't get sidetracked no more, but we will. Are there different types of ulcers, and what's the best diet to help relieve or get rid of ulcers? I think a lot of people want to hear this.
Yeah, I think I could spend an hour. I could spend an hour on this, and I'm really sorry that my graphics didn't get through to Amanda today. But first of all, I want to stick. You could have an ulcer in your mouth and in your toes and everywhere else. I want to stick to what we know as heartburn and indigestion, and to ulceration within the upper gastrointestinal tract. And this is probably the most important question that we've had around here in many weeks. When I began my training in medicine in 1962, there were many people who died of acute peptic ulcer disease, ruptured, and bled to death. And one of the guys that I saw in my office about a week ago, I first met in 1969, so that's, 50-something years ago, who at 18 had a huge gastrointestinal hemorrhage, went into shock, had half of his stomach removed. Over the course of the next 20 years, he had 6 different operations for peptic ulcer and had all of the nerves cut to the stomach. And in those days, we didn't know what ulcers were caused by. Amanda, I'm going to stop you here. If you think about ulcers and think about causation, just quickly give me what you think the biggest cause of peptic ulcer disease is. Acid. Okay, what caused the acid? Why is the acid there? In other words, go back one step.
From the bile from the.
Okay, all right. So the lure around ulcers is that my wife is driving me crazy. I'm going to get an ulcer. If I don't get out of this job, I'm going to get an ulcer. And that used to be.
I drink too much coffee.
I drink too much coffee. Your coffee's not doing it. Your wife's not doing it. The job's not doing it. Today in the United States,
And boss. Throw boss.
no boss, 50 to 75% of ulcer disease is caused by the bacteria H. pylori. And we only knew that within the last half a dozen years or so. And the treatment is a complex antibiotic program to eliminate the H. pylori bacteria from your stomach. In undeveloped countries, and take Japan where there's a lot of ulcers, the H. pylori is 90%. So all of these guys that were getting this surgery back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even in the 2000s, before we knew about H. pylori, had a bacteria in their stomach that made them make the acid that we were taking care of by cutting out the acid part of the stomach and cutting the nerves. Okay, now of the remainder of those, Amanda, so I've said 50 to 75% in the United States and Canada as of right now is caused by the H. pylori H. pylori bacteria. There's a single cause of almost all of the others. What is it? Advil, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories of all types, aspirin and non-steroidals.
Any NSAID.
NSAID. So that's the next 25 to 35%. And then there's only 1 or 2% that are caused by early cancer, smoking, other types of infection. There is an acid hypersecretion type of ulcer that's not related to NSAIDs or related to aspirin. It's less than 0.5%. But unfortunately, in the young population today, there's about 3 or 4 or 5% of ulcers, more in your age group than in ours, that are caused by the drugs. Cocaine and methamphetamine, when they are raising your heart rate, constrict the blood vessels to the stomach, and they just cut off the blood to the mucosa, and a normal amount of stomach acid can cause an ulcer. So really, 98% of the ulcers are due to those two things, H. pylori and NSAIDs, and a proper diagnosis is absolutely mandatory, and there is no diet that helps peptic ulcer disease. It has to be a diet that doesn't have aspirin and non-steroidals in it. And the treatment of the disease today is non-surgical. Even if you have an ulcer that's bad enough to perforate, what they do is they go in there and sew up the ulcer, make a few biopsies to see if you've got H. pylori, and then if you've got H. pylori, they treat it, and then otherwise they go back and start taking a big-time history, and you've taken non-steroidals or taken aspirin, and they give you a Zantac or even things you can buy over the counter, and it's a totally curable disease. What else?
Oh, next.
Is that enough? Okay, Amanda, did you learn anything? So your boss cannot give you an ulcer, all right?
I don't know about that.
Drinking coffee won't give you an ulcer. But if you are taking, if you take an Advil every day.
Yeah, he leads to the headaches that lead to the NSAIDs.
Now, I'm not going to stop that a bit. I will not argue that point a bit.
I thought we were done with that subject. I thought we were moving on.
Okay, all right.
Somehow, I don't know.
All right, but let me go back to let me go back to Dr. Tidman sitting here. If you have the warning signs, the alarm features, if you have heartburn, that makes you say, don't go and buy yourself some Zantac. 1, an unintentional weight loss. Go see the doctor. 2, swallowing gets harder and harder. That's a warning sign of esophageal cancer or stricture, which can occur from gastroesophageal reflux. If you have painful swallowing up in here, if you vomit, or if you have episodes of vomiting, if you feel like, this feels funny, I think I can feel something in my stomach, don't stay around and take the Advil. And if there's any family history of esophageal, gastric, or duodenal malignancy, or a history of colonic malignancy, or pancreatic malignancy in your family, then go to the doctor before you go to the Zantac. Because Tidman would have told you to go see your family doc, and then I got into causation. So once again, you got indigestion, go take a few Zantac, stop taking aspirin and Advil and stuff, and if you're totally cured in a week, then it was non-steroidals, and don't particularly worry about it. But if it becomes progressive and you're losing weight or whatever, go see Tidman or somebody. All right.
But I want to move to the last one, and then we'll go back to the middle, because
Are you going to skip around?
Well, I know you're prepared no matter what direction I go in, Dr.
All right, go.
What is the best treatment for a bone spur?
I am so embarrassed that our things didn't show up today.
We can see it. We can see that.
Can you see that? Okay. Well, that is a cartoon of a body, and you'll notice that there is a black mark up here on the neck, both hips, low back, all the joints of the hands, the knees, the sort of the place where you get a bunion in your toe there, and back on the heel. So when you talk of a bone spur, you got to tell me which one of those many bone spurs are you talking about? Okay. Now, most people are talking about a bone spur when it's on their heel.
Right.
Where when you take the fleshy part of your heel. I won't put my foot up there, but if that's your foot and you mash right there and it hurts like the devil, that's a heel spur, and that's part of the apparatus that operates the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia, your calf, and your Achilles tendon. The way you treat plantar fasciitis, heel spur, Achilles tendonitis is basically like we did before, rest, ice, blah, 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 blah. And then there's a series of stretching exercises and so forth that you do, and virtually never does a heel spur require surgery. And there have been so many guys that have made so much money off of cutting your heel and going in there and shortening the heel spur. Heel spur is just God's way of responding to a lifelong walking on your feet and jogging. And the best treatment for the heel spur then is get the inflammation out of it by the ice and the rice and maybe the non-steroidals, learning how to do the plantar stretching exercises and stay away from a knife. There are situations, I ran the Boston Marathon with a heel spur one time, and my sports podiatrist made me a pad with a donut in it that went over the heel spur. The night before, he blocked the nerve in the back of my ankle so that I couldn't feel the pain, like going to the dentist and having a pain shot given here to operate on a tooth here, and he injected that heel spur with cortisone. Now that's stupid. I'm stupid, and I should never have done that. But I did run the Boston Marathon with an acute heel spur. Now I did fine, but for the next 2 weeks I couldn't hardly walk. So don't do that.
I wasn't planning the Boston Marathon, so
and a good
time I'm going to listen.
Okay, and a good sports podiatrist can teach you how to and actually building orthotics and increasing the biomechanical stability of the foot. There's bunches of things in the way of prevention, but heel spur is a natural part of living. When I hang that back up there again, Amanda, can you still see that?
Yeah.
There's nobody in this room that hadn't had pains right there in the back, that hadn't got some sort of swelling in this joint right there, some sort of swelling down there and where their great toe is, and all of us walk around here like our knees hurt. So every one of those places have got spurs, but the most common one when people say spurs is that one on the heel.
You ran the Boston Marathon?
8 times. Ran it 8 times. Ran it one time with a torn hamstring. I ran it one time with 3 broken ribs. I ran it 5 times without an injury and 3 times with an injury.
I was just getting ready to say, how many times did you run it?
I ran 19 marathons.
Okay.
Crazy, huh?
No.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've been taking antibiotics for a week for upper respiratory infection, and I'm not getting much better. Is there anything I can do to help speed up my recovery?
You can tear pages off the calendar. Did you like that one? Tear pages off the calendar. You remember when we used to have calendars that had a new page for every day? I mean, you may be too young because your calendar's on your phone now. Well, anyway, the answer to that question is basically no. Basically no. You have defined by saying I'm taking antibiotics and I'm not getting better, the episodic viral upper respiratory thing. We're just coming out of this huge epidemic, which, by the way, is not totally over yet. We're going into the pollen season, and the antibiotics aren't going to help. And if it's really a sickness and you've got a temperature of 99 and 100 and you're coughing up green goo, stay home. Don't go around anybody where you're going to make them sick, and have a little rest. Fluids, gargle hot salt water, take 2 aspirin, and call me in the morning, you know.
Oh, I understand it all too well. I had that a couple of weeks ago.
No, you can't do anything.
For people that are still suffering from allergies, would it be easier, could you possibly build an immune system from just staying outside all the
Okay,
time?
yes, that's a really great idea. First of all, remember that we have taken our children and protected them so much from exposure to dirt that they have an increased amount of allergies. And months ago, we talked here that they recommend that you expose your children to everything. Let them play with puppies, play with kittens, go outside. You know, my dad used to say you have to eat a peck of dirt before you're 10. I don't think people eat a peck of dirt anymore, but they don't even know what a peck is, do they?
I was just getting ready to say, Dr. Well, you just threw a peck of dirt on them, and they're wondering.
Anyway, if you go over to Sears and buy apples, they'll sell it by the peck.
I'm with you, sir.
Yeah,
I
okay.
understand.
It's a country way of measuring stuff. But anyhow, yes, that is absolutely true. That when you move to a new community, you get an increasing amount of allergies, and then you get better over a course of time. That's just really sort of a natural biological, what the allergist does when he gives you allergy injections. What he's doing then is he's taking what's the big one around here, ragweed and so on, these trees, and then taking that pollen and getting the serum out of it and starting with a low dose and building it up. So yes, you can. And it's really safe this time of year to take one of these over-the-counter generic Claritins or Zyrtex, and you can take it every day, and there's not a reason in the world not to do it. And if you get the generic ones at the Costco and the Walmart, they're cheap as dirt. And if you buy the ones that got the brand name on it, they're expensive.
So you, let's see, we've talked about the marathon that you've run several times with
injuries
several times, and then you went to Peck. You threw Peck in this show.
Yeah, I did.
So do the mom and dads, do they not sing to the kids anymore? I love you, a bushel of peck and a hug around the neck.
Peck and a hug around the neck.
Right?
I don't know. If they even know what they're singing about anymore.
Dr. Whaley, it is great to have you back, and glad to have you and Jane home, and we're glad you went and enjoyed. We appreciate Dr. Tidman for coming in when you're not with us, and we're glad you got an opportunity to enjoy some time away. You got any closing, parting
I got two
thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I want you to listen carefully. Study came out yesterday, once again, studying a homogeneous population, and those are always in Sweden, Norway, Finland. A 20% above ideal body weight for women increases their chance of getting heart disease heart attack by 18%, stroke by 28%, and cancer by 20%. Now, we've always been talking about, they need to be lean and exercise, but that was the first time I've seen a chart that gave those three things out of there. That was one. Second study that came out yesterday, again from a homogeneous population, it's just exactly like the one in Blue Ridge, China. But anyway, the things, yeah, there's not too many Chinese around here, but everybody's worried about eggs. The eggs are hurting me. You say eggs are hurting me. The people who ate one egg a day versus the people who ate very rare eggs, the ones that ate one or more eggs per day had a much lower incidence of heart disease and stroke than the ones who didn't, because the major sources of cholesterol and fat in the diet are not eggs, and eggs have great nutritional value. So you can eat your 2 eggs every morning. They're low in calories and high in protein. As I've said before, 2 eggs a day have all the essential amino acids it takes for metabolism, not all the protein you need for life. How's that? Got that one?
You know what I heard on the news this morning is obviously we've labeled it junk food. In the grocery store, some things junk food, but they're actually going to looking at putting warning labels on certain food, just like cigarettes.
Well, they're doing it in San Francisco.
Are they?
Yeah, that's not a joke. San Francisco. Oh, excuse me. They've passed an ordinance that they put warning labels on sugar-containing sodas.
Right.
That was the first one, and there's a suit against them saying you don't have the power to do that in a localized environment. But you're exactly right. And I think in some countries they may already be doing it. I'm not sure. But
Dr. Whaley, we appreciate it. We want to thank Georgia Cancer Specialists affiliated with Northside Hospital. We appreciate them very much for this segment. If you have a question for the doctor, info at FetcherNews.com. Just put up there in the subject, Ask the Doc, and we try to get our questions over to the doc every week, and maybe they'll be answered right here on the show. And I do know when Dr. Whaley's in town, we send him questions. If he can't get to them on the show, he does respond where we can get you an answer. Info at FetcherNews.com. Ask the Doc. Again, thank you, Dr. Whaley. enjoy this 3-day weekend and beautiful weather that's coming our way. We're going to take a break. When we get back, Rick and I are going to talk about some political things that took place throughout the week. And
no jargon.
No jargon. Okay. Right after these messages.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hey, and we're back, and it is time for, what's it time for? Politics?
It's howdy doody time.
Is it? It's time for the Rick. Excuse me, Rick. So Dr. Whaley goes with Peck and all the thing. You go howdy doody. We're at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Beautiful Friday morning. I don't want to hear it, folks. I know you're watching the computer weather model. We all have them on our phone, and we track it as it moves and everything, and we do our hour by hour. But what did Dr. Whaley says? It rains, 5 minutes later, sun's shining, right?
Yep.
So get on up here and enjoy the North Georgia mountains with us this beautiful holiday weekend, 3 days, and we're at Circuit World here with JR. Rick, how you doing, babe?
I'm good. Kind of a crazy week, but traveling all over the place.
Yes, you have.
A lot of action this week.
A lot of action.
I don't know that I'm going to add much.
Oh no, I was expecting you to bring it home. I really have nothing. We have nothing.
I got nothing. All right.
Well, what do we got? Do we have some
We'll
singers
figure
scheduled?
something out. We'll figure something out.
Okay, so let's go with this. And it's not exactly a news story. How let's see, the betting against America, is that not getting old? Because polling is showing that American people are tired of all this.
I agree. To see the Democrats yesterday just reveling in the fact that that meeting was canceled, and then just pouncing on Trump as ill prepared. He's not fit for the job. I mean, they go right down.
Joe Scarborough and them, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. This
all right.
morning at 6 a.m., they go right into it's a good thing. Like they were almost trying to make you feel like they were showing support for the president and his decision. They went into, it's a good thing he canceled this, and they didn't blame him, but he was ill prepared, wasn't ready, and it would have been a disaster. So this is the best thing that could have happened. Can you people have a day where you don't bet against this country?
Right. Wasn't that a point that you were trying to make on the show one day? Just have one day you're not hammering the president about something. Just one day.
Pick a day, any day.
I know. Did they miss the statement by Pompeo that he said we were ready to rock? Our team had been preparing for this. Menendez asked him the question in that Senate committee meeting. He said, did you guys have a clue as to what you were going to do when you went over there? And he said, yeah, we had a team put together. We've been working on this. His exact words, we were ready to rock. Did they miss that? Did they miss that point?
I'm not shocked by this. I wasn't over the top. I still feel, well, they don't discuss any forward direction whatsoever. I mean, there's 3 freed Americans. On any given day, was that life just not? I mean, we realize life itself has no value to some of these people.
Right.
Okay, so the value of those 3 Americans, obviously, that came home with Mike Pompeo, just okay. That's
what in your mind is the causation? What do you think? You think it's just Koreans being Koreans? I don't think that's the case. I think there's a nervousness. I ask you a question, then I give you my opinion. What is your?
No, go ahead.
I think there's a nervousness on the part of China that they are scared that there might be a unified Korea.
Correct. They don't want it now.
I think that's the crux of
when you say that you got causation. You got the variables. So you've got South. You've got the president of the United States saying we're not interested in changing. We'll give you dictator security. That's a new term.
Yeah,
dictator security. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean we'll give you regime
exactly.
continuity.
You do whatever you want. Okay. But the reality is, I think Kim Jong-un is in fear. He's at a crossroads in North Korea. No matter what the talking heads want to come out and tell you, the people are in what they call them gulags. What do they call those? They've been thrown in there. They're hungry. These people are hungry. What is it?
They're in the dark at night.
They're in the dark at night? That's true. I mean, you've read the accounts of pilots seeing the difference of where it's pitch dark.
No infrastructure.
Health-wise, are they an average of 3 inches shorter, if not more, than South Koreans?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. There's an average of the North Korean people. The South Korea is here, North Korea is here,
which is a direct result of malnutrition.
And I think if you will Google that, there is an actual statistic that North Koreans are an average of 3 inches shorter than South Koreans.
Malnutrition.
All right, exactly. By all, And there's the variable is I think Kim Jong-un is excited, and I make it as a joke, to get the new Chevy. You know, it's like winning the Super Bowl. Remember when the quarterback used to get the new Cadillac? I think Trump's thrown in a Chevy for the guy, okay? That's a joke, but I think he's excited to get in the new Chevy, and I think he's excited that they're going to get him a new plane, and the bullet train's going to get an upgrade. I mean, all those things, jokingly or not, I think he's excited, but then in understanding him in a way, he probably has some fear of his people saying, this is okay, but you've been treating us like garbage.
Yeah.
So right now he can be the hero for his people, or it could backfire and his people could say, wait a minute, you mean this was out there all along? I don't know.
Well, I mean, right now what's backfired is, I mean, you got people angry in South Korea at Trump.
Are they?
Well, they're protesting.
Yeah, but you know, we have our media, and they are a free, open society there in South Korea, and we have our media, and you know, if we had 100 people inside supporting something, and 5 people were outside with signs, the media would be up here talking about the protest. So I'm not going to say that they're not protesting, but the president of South Korea was just here 2 days ago.
Well, he got blindsided too. I think he felt betrayed. I think that's just my.
You think so?
Either
See,
that,
I'm
or
a
they're.
firm believer that Trump is not as spontaneous as people want to make it out to be. I'm not a believer that he just got up yesterday and penned the letter because he didn't have anything else to do.
No, you're right.
I'm a believer that, you know, I listened to Pompeo yesterday, and Pompeo said for 16 months, you know, things have gone away in this State Department or the CIA with intelligence. Nothing's catching him off guard. So I'm not of the opinion of the media that, you know, yes, does Trump send a tweet just to you know, ruin Joe Scarborough's weekend? Yes, he does. Does Trump just send a tweet saying, hey, if I call somebody an animal, they won't shut up for 4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does
4.
that.
Yeah.
All right, he does that. But if you'll notice, when policy like this, will he send a tweet and get everything all worked up about China and tariffs? But the reality is, Wilbur Ross, Mnuchin, a team has gone over to China. They've been working together on the trade, right? They're trying to do something methodically, not spontaneous, right? They're trying to work something out.
I mean, why do you think that advance team got stiffed? We had people over in Singapore waiting to meet with, you know, they had kumbaya, and they said, well, we'll get this prepared, we'll send an advance team to meet you guys.
But they are who they are. They are who they are.
Do you think it's just him playing the art of the deal? Just at the last minute, seeing what else he can get?
We give North Korea too much credit for having their own advance team. This is not an advanced country, and we are set up, and we are the United States of America, and we have 50,000 people that work in the State Department, and we have advanced team A and advanced team B, and they go here, and this team does this, and this team does that, and this team is set up to talk about trade. When we go to sit, a lot of people don't realize, when we go to, let's say we go sit down with Russia, okay? The President of the United States and Putin, God forbid he ever sit down with them because they go crazy, but if they sit down, what a lot of people don't realize is there's an advanced team, there's a team that, if you can go around, sir, if you can go around that way. There's a team that goes over that is economically structured. There's a team that goes over and talks about trade. There's several different teams that are meeting with their people in their areas at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we give too much credit to North Korea for even having an advanced team. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they obviously don't have a Secretary of State department.
They don't have all that.
Yeah.
So when you say their advanced team didn't show up, and that's what the media says, we're talking about a guy that killed his half brother, poisoned him, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he got mad on Tuesday at two of the guys that were on the advanced team, and they didn't. I don't know how silly that sounds, but do you?
No,
understand
you know what?
I'm
You
saying?
just hit home for me when you said, you know, we're giving them too much credit. You're probably right. I mean, they don't even leave the borders.
Exactly.
They don't leave the country.
Yeah, we're like their advanced team didn't show up. You know, the last time
They might be sitting back there going, "Oh, geez, we need to show up on the advanced team. What is that?"
You know what? You and I, they could be making
That
fun of
makes
us
a
out
lot
there,
of
but I
sense.
do think that there's a lot of truth to it. I think like last week they were. It's not like they have. You know, it's not like they have a Congress, and it's not like they have committees and intel committees and things like that.
No, you're right.
We
You're
get
right.
too wrapped up. We have these things, and so you know they may have been over there last week saying, "Who wants to be on the advanced team? Raise your hand."
And everybody's sitting on their hands.
I don't want to go.
I'm going over
Okay,
there.
who wants to go on the advanced team and come back and give him bad news?
Yeah, that's right.
Shoot his ass. I don't know, but do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, it makes sense.
We are giving, and I don't want to brag about us to a point of being developed country, but we're giving this country, they don't know how to do summits. They don't know how to go to these things. I mean, this guy, the first time he left across the border was he went to China in a bullet train, right?
Yeah. It may be as simple as he just doesn't want to look foolish. It may be that simple.
I don't know. But I'm not going to make all this out of it that the media is. So,
Well, they got to have something to talk about.
well, I'm not worried that...
You know,
that-
they're blasting all over the TV today that North Korea remains open to talks. Why don't they just go get it done? I don't know. Maybe.
Listen, North Korea wanted to look good with the world. Listen, bottom line, they wanted to look good in the world. They wanted to look like they were coming to the table. They let 3 Americans go. They wanted to look like they were doing everything they could. They wanted to make it look like they were destroying this nuclear test facility and inviting reporters in that hadn't happened. They went to China. They met with South Korea, but Trump screwed it up. Mike Pence said something ugly. Pompeo said something ugly, and Pence said something ugly, and they tried. That's what they want to make it look like. Now, the damn thing that really burns me is that's what they want to look like, and then they got these jerks like Schumer and Pelosi that are agreeing with them.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
They would much rather see him.
So, if you want to wrap
lose.
up the North Korean deal,
Yeah,
this guy made it look like he stepped out and did everything, and then, you know, Pence said something he didn't like, and Pompeo said something, and Trump said something, and he's sitting there, I tried. All right, bull. And then Nancy Pelosi said, Nancy Pelosi said he's probably having a giggle fit. I tell you what, folks, don't get me started. Let's go to something else. You got anything
right.
else? I mean, daggone it.
Yeah, let's just leave it that North Korea is way underdeveloped, and they just don't know what they're doing. Let's just leave it at that. Let's not. Let's
my
lose
point-
the conspiracy theories that it's all China's fault. It's all this guy's fault. It's all that guy's fault. They don't know how to do
I
it.
think a unified Korea they don't want.
Oh, they
I mean,
don't.
I understand
They don't.
that. They don't want that.
It's a long border.
And if all of a sudden South Korea and North Korea are friends, okay, and if all of a sudden they take the border down and trucks from South Korea start taking goods and services up to North Korea,
Right.
and then all of a sudden if North Korea is sitting there and they disarm, and South Korea is sitting with our military ready, what's the buffer? Okay, so China is a big play. But I guess what we can say before we move on is this was a created situation because we knew the parts. China, South Korea, North Korea, Japan, and I don't see anybody else doing anything for 8 years and 24 years. And the last 8 years, Barack Obama never brought it up. It was like, North Korea?
Where?
What?
What?
Where's that at?
Yeah.
So, point being is Trump's okay with it. Let's, so the spying on the president.
You think?
Spygate.
Spygate. You gotta love it. Jeez.
What say you?
Where do you start?
Well, we talked about it yesterday, Cheryl Atkinson,
Yeah.
and it is now 2 days old, but she laid out a very good 8-point.
Yep, I got everyone.
You got everyone? She laid out a very good 8 points to this whole investigation.
Pointing to the fact, 8 points pointing to the fact that they did, in fact, spy on him. Correct?
Correct, yes. Well, and the thing is I forget the words. I had it this morning, but Trump says spy. This is where I can't take the media. All right. Trump said wiretap, and I know if people have watched the show, they're tired of me saying this, but the media came out and made fun of Trump when he said Trump Tower was wiretapped.
Right.
Because wiretapping is a term that was used several years ago, decades ago.
It conjures up somebody down in a phone room
right,
with headphones on, clipping
the alligator
clips
like
on, going,
Apartment C.
Yeah, I got you.
Or the old FBI, you watch the old shows and the FBI's got the sonic thing on the van that says TV repair, right? The TV repair, and there's 2 FBI guys in there and there's tapes running, right?
Reel to reel.
Yeah, exactly, reel to reel tape. So when Trump said wiretapping, they totally made fun of the guy.
Yeah. So if you think he picks up his shoe and turns the heel and goes,
okay.
"Hello, Chief."
Hello, Chief. Chaos. It's like chaos. But what's on your notes for wiretap?
Well, I mean, the first one was the code name.
Yes.
Crossfire Hurricane.
Crossfire Hurricane.
Yeah.
Code name Crossfire Hurricane.
Yep. And then there's the wiretap fixation.
Now she did show the wiretap, the surveillance. She showed it very clearly in that article, the surveillance that they did.
And they started it well before any of these guys that have been charged, like General Flynn. They started the wiretap on him before he even met with the Russian.
6 months? Was it 6 months
Yeah,
before?
something like that.
Yeah, 6 months
before.
In
2016, I think it was. They got the national security letters, which is a methodology by which the FBI can go around the judicial process. And, who initiated that? Who started that? Mueller, when he was FBI director.
National security letters is exactly what they can go around. They can go around a court order.
Right.
So if it is, and Rick may be able to give you better detail or clarification, but when the national security, they write a letter, and it's a gray area that allows them to go all the way around the court system to actually do surveillance. They can use it to do surveillance on you, wiretap,
and they use national security,
right, as a front,
as
the guys to get in, and they bypass the courts.
Yep.
So that was shown that they use national security letters, which in national security letters you get names that pop up like Clapper, you get names that pop up like Brennan. So you get these kind of names pop up from something that Mueller created, right? National security letters, Mueller created while at the FBI. He created these. You get names like Clapper and Brennan that get in the mix of this, national security. It gets over to a guy like a Comey that bypasses the courts and is doing surveillance.
You bring up Clapper.
Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up Clapper and you bring up Brennan. They're still, they're one of them's employed by MSNBC, one of them's employed by CNN.
Clapper, CNN. Brennan, it's right there. It says media strategy.
Media strategy. They're still shaping the news.
Right.
These are the guys that leaked the dossier thing to CNN.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden he turns up with a contract and he's their spokesperson now.
Yeah, but then also Clapper lied to Congress when he talked about do they capture your information?
Right.
And he was caught lying on that.
Those two guys are really, really, really evil.
They're dirty. Dirty. But the interesting thing is in that article, the media strategy. There's a media strategy. So Brennan ends up an MSNBC paid analyst. And Clapper ends up a CNN paid analyst.
Right. Yeah, how does that figure, right? Then you got all the unmasking. That was another point. That was one of the 8. You got all the unmasking. going on. So, I mean, rice,
Right.
and then they changed.
Powers.
Then they changed the rules to. They changed the rules to have less oversight, so that the unmasking was okay.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Can you explain? I mean, I try to, and I stumble. I'll admit that. Can you explain unmasking to the public?
Well, it's when you have a redaction, and in order.
But wait a minute. Because it's an international communication. When Americans make an international communication, right?
Okay, that you know better than I then.
Well, what it is if they can do surveillance, okay, if you have international communication with international governments or anything like that, and if you're a private citizen, they'll listen in, not always, all right, but then they cannot unmask your name of who you are. So I can't find out. They cannot unmask your name as a private citizen. So only certain people, because this is where I get to, and it has to do with international communications. Remember when Comey was there, and to me the famous Trey Gowdy questioning of who has the power to unmask. Remember that?
Oh, sure.
All right. And
He went through
list
line
by
by
list by list. Now, they don't have the power to unmask. They have the power to request for unmask, and the FBI gives it to them. You remember he asked if Susan Rice, Samantha Powers, James Clapper, right? He went through all of them.
He already knew the answer.
He already knew the answer. So the unmasking of American citizens' names, and then we find out, was it Powers or Susan Rice that was almost making daily requests?
Powers.
Powers was almost making daily requests.
As a UN ambassador, wasn't she a UN ambassador?
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, what is she doing? That's just amazing that she would do that.
Folks, let's take a brief break, and then Rick and I will come back, and we got about 30 minutes left before it's time for our Pet of the Week, and we'll get a new direction going, and right after these messages.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ella. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I've had
Hey, we're back, and I am BKP, and I'm here with Rick, and it's time for our all-star panel. Bruce is still traveling, so if you'd ever, if you are interested at any time being a part of our panel, don't hesitate. Send us a message at 706-889-9700 or email at chief@fetchernews.com. Say, I'd like to be a part of the panel. We'll get in touch with you, and if you meet the criteria, Rick and I will review everything. And
Hey, Jane sent us a text this morning.
Good morning, Jane. Right?
Good morning, Jane.
So we'll go through the check everything out.
Yeah.
Might have you on the panel.
Hey, what about local politics? We got some runoffs coming up, huh?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Let's talk just a minute, and then we can get back into national.
24th of July, is that correct?
24th of July. And, here's the interesting thing. We talked about this the other day. We have a governor's race here in Georgia. And that is the only one that actually made national news. Okay, now there's a lot of races out there, but Georgia, our governor's race, they're highlighting it for a couple reasons, okay? First of all, I love it because let me tell you who the Republicans are, okay? The Republicans are the Wile
Coyote
and Roadrunner cartoon.
Beep, beep.
Roadrunner cartoon. So the media runs down the road, okay, and paints a sign on a tunnel, the fake tunnel on the mountain, and the Republicans run at it, and every time they think, oh my God, the media likes us, they get slammed right into the wall because the tunnel is fake.
It's the light at the tunnel.
Do you understand?
Is the train coming at them, right?
And it never ends. There's always a group of Republicans that thinks the media likes them.
So is the media then Acme the Acme the Acme media?
Right. And they got these liberal people, and the Republicans chase them down through there, and then always bang into the wall. My point is, if there is
one,
once again in Georgia, I do feel there's been several Republicans that feel the liberal media like them. And they don't, no matter where you're at. And of all places, Atlanta is big liberal media. They do not like these Republicans, believe it or not. Point being, because there is one, what did they do election night? They immediately went into the praises. We talked about this, didn't we, Amanda? Election night, 5 minutes after it was called that Stacey Abrams is the nominee for the Democrats to run for governor.
I believe Amanda brought that to
New York Times.
Brought that to the table.
Yep, New York Times, all of them immediately. First major party nomination for the biggest office by a African American female. Blah blah blah. Okay, and the second.
Is that a complete description?
No, I'm leaving it off. It's Friday. I'm leaving the LGBTQ community alone today. What?
We've got a running bet at home over some Stacey Abrams stuff going right now, and it includes Texas Roadhouse and $1,000.
Texas Roadhouse. You got to get in on that. How you get in?
I want to get in on this pool.
Can't discuss it all here though.
All right. Okay. So anyhow, but immediately they did that. The history again has been made.
Oh, the glass ceiling might be broken.
Right? And then they started writing these glowing articles of Democrats unifying together. Stacey Evans came out immediately. Then on the other side of the coin is Brian Kemp, Casey Cagle, and they are doing everything to try to separate the Republican Party and so on and so forth. So we have a runoff here in Georgia.
Right.
Casey Cagle, Brian Kemp, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a whole lot tighter than people think.
Agreed.
I think that a lot of the votes that went to all of those other three candidates, I think a lot of them, especially Hunter Hills, are going to slide toward Kemp.
Okay, I tell you what I did I like to partake of the cheap cigar in the afternoons when available. Sorry, don't try that at home, kids. And so after Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, for the last 2 days, I spent a good portion of my afternoon phone call. I mean, I rolled out in 2 days 20 phone calls around the state, different people connected in different areas. At a 45-minute, I have a 45-minute phone call with someone yesterday that is so high up the chain. That's the only way I can put it. All right, and I can't go any further than that. But
it's an undisclosed source, folks.
Undisclosed source. It means they were in a bar drinking.
That's right.
I was standing next to him going like this, right? Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
So the undisclosed source is the guy that was drinking, got the bowl of loudmouth soup, and I was like this. So anyhow, but the consensus in the conversations and the calls I made is Casey Cagle came out originally in upper 40s, as they were talking. He was in 42,
46,
whatever, right? He never moved the needle. He spent $5 million. He's got to like $9 million. He spent almost $5 million. Okay, he spent as much as his campaign spent in the primary. Casey Cagle's is almost combined with all of the other opponents, and didn't move the needle. Went down. That's being talked. So what he does, do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Spent almost $5 million, did not move the needle, and it went down. Okay? If he would have come in 41, I know that just sounds 2%, but to come in 39, the needle actually dropped from the anticipated the media had him blowed up in the 40s. This is where I don't trust the media. The media had him blowed up in the 40s. I think they set him up to be up there. So when he did, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't mean to be the naysayer, but I mean, don't you think that happens a lot? You've got this candidate out there that is just off the chart, leading, and then as it gets closer to election day,
it does balance out. That's true.
It tends to get closer.
It does, but the thing is I think a lot of people are looking at what was spent by him. It didn't move the needle.
Well, that could be. That's true.
And the needle went down from the anticipated number.
I think it was the color of the suit.
You think it's the color of the suit?
That blue suit that he was wearing.
I don't know. It wasn't nice, Rick.
No, I know.
We're trying to stay focused.
No, I know. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Anyway, so...
it was a bad joke.
Well, what did you find out?
I tell a lot of bad jokes. Look who's talking, right?
Okay, did you get a consensus that the Hill supporters were going to gravitate toward Kemp? Or did you get any feel for that?
Yes, but I tell you what I did get. I mean, Casey Cagle's camp immediately released the letter that I read 2 days ago. They immediately released a letter, Casey Cagle's camp, saying, hey, Hunter Hill voters, Clay Tippin voters, Michael Williams, even including Michael Williams voters, we need to talk. We want to talk to you. Let's start a dialogue. And that wasn't quote what the letter said, but let's start a dialogue. So they did reach out immediately. Now, if I missed it by the Kemp campaign, I'm sorry, but I'm on all the email lists. I did not see that letter come out from the Kemp campaign. I'm not saying they're not asking for that vote, reaching out.
I mean, what Cagle allegedly did in the final days with the media blitz against Hill.
I think it's a given. I think it's a given the Hunter Hill vote moves to Kemp.
I do too.
I think it's a given that the Michael Williams vote moves to Kemp. Now, Michael Williams was his 5%, regardless of what it was, it's 5%. Very conservative, very conservative, very conservative. But I think they'll come out and vote, for Kemp. So
and I think the other guy, your buddy,
Tippins,
I think he moves to Cagle.
That is to me, that's the wild card in the race, is where does Tippins' votes go? Okay, where do they go? And I tell you the other thing, who are these 12%? because he got 12% of the vote, and it had to be Metro Atlanta vote because it wasn't rural Georgia. If you go back and look,
No, they don't even know him.
huh?
They don't
Yeah,
even know him.
They don't even know
He
him.
has zero name recognition.
Right. And the other thing that Kemp did very well at, that Kemp did well in rural Georgia. I mean, if you look up through here, I'm not going to say 50%, but there's a lot of these counties on 515 that Kemp and Cagle are pretty much neck and neck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm not for sure. I will say this, and it's not that I'm trying to get.
I think, let me just throw something in
Go
here.
for it.
We talked about name recognition. I think Kemp has got better name recognition than Cagle does. Statewide.
You want my prediction? I know it's the 24th. Now wait, I want my prediction to have an asterisk next to it. All right, I'm not wrong. Circumstances change.
Yeah, right.
Where corrections need to be made.
Uh-huh.
Oh, don't get like that with
Okay.
me. Yeah. Circumstances change where corrections need to be made.
Should we
Now,
write the exact circumstances that would qualify for the asterisk? That'd
but
get,
you
that'd
did-
put that back into the corner
But
too
I
much,
think
wouldn't it?
you were traveling and you didn't get a chance to watch my day after election show.
No, I did not.
But
I
now,
was-
Amanda, you're my witness. I admitted I made a big personal mistake when I did the numbers, that I broke my own rule of not allowing my personal feelings towards a candidate.
I did see that. I went back.
Yeah,
I went
yeah,
back
all
because
right.
I needed,
And I said-
folks. I needed to see him admit an error. So I went back and I
That
reviewed.
wasn't what I
reviewed
well, I
that
did,
show. Yes,
but
you
I
did.
gave yes. But I broke my own rule. I allowed my personal feelings for a candidate to skew my estimate and prediction.
and that happened at least twice, correct?
Yeah, but that bothered me. Where's the second time?
Do you want me to tell him?
Go for it. If you go for it.
Well, I mean, I think you put a lot more faith into the insurance commission race.
Correct. But I have an out on that.
He's got an asterisk for everything.
Yeah, I got an out on that. You got any? No, I was on the insurance commissioner's race. I was knocked out of the box. I'm not happy with the result. Let's put it like that. But I was knocked out of the box that Jim Beck got 60%.
Right.
That shocked me.
Yeah.
But I will say, whether you want to call it a winner or not, this Tracy Jordan, a no name in politics, no money.
Registered pharmacist, correct?
Registered pharmacist.
Yeah.
She didn't have the money. She actually almost went vote for vote with Jay Florence, and Jay Florence had $1 million insurance, lobbyists, political action committees, and Jay Florence didn't get much over 20, and she got 19, and he got 20%.
Well,
So
you
I
had
am
the you
proud
had
of
the
her.
benefit of conducting that.
Yes,
The
I did a debate.
Debate in
She did a-
Dawsonville, I
so
think, right?
I'm shocked that Florence did not do any better. Jay Florence, with $1 million in the bank of lobbyists, special interest groups, political action committees, and she had $100 here and there, and she went toe to toe with him.
Yeah.
So that, and I am shocked. And the other one that got me is Secretary of State. I was shocked that Josh McCoon was not second, not first, but second. That one caught me off guard. David Belle Isle, the former mayor of Alpharetta, right? I talked to somebody yesterday. I said, I'm caught off guard by that, and they said they were too. They're also caught off guard, but they said you might not know it because you were working on other campaigns, keeping up with them. But he worked very hard.
And
So
he was very well liked.
that's what they said. They said
Yeah.
he did work very hard. Now let me get back to the governor's race. Let's say the race is today. It's today, because that's the asterisk it has to be, because there's a lot of space between now and the 24th. Something could happen, okay? So let's call this early voting. This is the reason you don't
So
early
you're not
vote.
talking about the governor's race you're talking about the results of the runoff.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to give you, if the race is today.
All right, drum roll, please.
Okay.
we
Casey
go.
Cagle, this is my opinion. Casey Cagle, it is a runoff. The winner of the runoff is generally the candidate that can get their voters back to the poll. That's your focus. When you finish an election and you're in a runoff, the first thing you do is identify your voters, who are your voters, and your first focus is to ask them to come back. Don't go after anybody else's voter until you get yours to come back. That's A, okay, when you're running a campaign. Now, here's where this race is interesting. Casey Cagle got 39%. Now, if you think the turnout for the primary was low, you wait till July 24th. It will be what I call this super voter. It's going to be a low turnout. So Casey Cagle got 39% of the vote. If Casey Cagle can get 37 of that 39% back to the poll to say, I still say pull the lever, back to the poll to say Casey Cagle, he will be the Republican nominee. So if he goes out right now, identifies the 39%, who are they, who voted for him, and pour all of his resources in getting those people to go back and vote, he will be the nominee, period, even if it's 37% of that vote back. Brian Kemp, on the other hand, has to get all 25%. Then he has to convince Hunter Hill's voters or other voters to come back. So will it be tight? Yes. Does Brian Kemp have a little harder road? Because here's the thing. I have heard so many people, you voted for Hunter Hill, not you literally, but you voted for Hunter Hill, and I've heard so many people say, my candidate lost. I'm going to the lake. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yep.
If the groundswell will be enough out of the Hunter Hill, Michael Williams voters to come back and help Kemp.
Kemp has got a really...
You understand my analogy?
Yeah.
Cagle needs no help. He needs his voters. Kemp needs his voters and a little
and the
help.
other ones.
Right.
Yep.
So
gotcha.
That's if the election's today.
Okay. Very nice.
Agree or disagree?
I agree.
We have some local runoffs. You know, one I know. Switching so many gears, and people are tired of it. I'm so proud of this Tucker Green, this 20-year-old kid that's now on the Board of Education down in Pickens County.
Right.
We are so proud of him, and he is somebody that just, you know, when you sit down, you look at hope for the future of some outstanding politicians that might be out there. This young man. We have a runoff here in Fannin County in Post 2 Commissioner. We've got a runoff in Board of Education. We've got several. Secretary of State is a runoff between Brad Raffensperger. There's Sperger. There's no, I gotta say it fast. There's no B. And David Bell. That's Secretary of State David Bell out. David Schaefer, I gotta give it to him. 47 or 48%. He was just right on the edge of hitting that 50% mark, but didn't do it. So he'll be running against Jeff Duncan. Anything you see in the political world in the state that...
hats off to Carleen Ferguson, right? She crushed it.
Yeah. Well, 61%. Now, here's an interesting thing. Let's put this question out. Not to be controversial.
We've never done that before, folks.
No, but let's put the question out, okay? Let's say, I want your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gilmer County, and this is something you need to pay attention to the entire United States. So, a former commissioner in Gilmer County decided they were going to run again. I'm running for office, okay? So they go and qualify, all right? They go and qualify. Now, when they qualify, they decide a little time after that, a couple weeks later, I don't want to do it, and they withdraw. Should there be a different way or a certain way to take their name off the ballot if they withdraw so your vote's not wasted, and make sure if they withdraw, their name's gone? Now here's the reason why. Carleen won 61% of the vote against Jerry Tuso and Woody Jensen, okay? But she won 61% of the three-way vote. But when the citizens of Gilmer County went to vote, Danny Hall's name was on the ballot.
Okay.
Now, there was a disclaimer written there on the door, and that disclaimer said, you know, it's real small, Danny Hall. And not that the election people think Danny Hall is no longer a candidate. But I didn't even see that. I just knew Danny wasn't running. But there was 4 options. You could have voted for Danny. Now what happened? Danny became the second highest vote getter.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
But the state says his votes don't count. Now, he doesn't want them to count. I spoke to Danny Hall. Danny and I had a conversation. His votes don't count. But the lady that got the top vote, Carleen Ferguson, Danny actually got the second highest. Because people didn't really realize or see the disclaimer that he wasn't on the ballot. So,
again, name recognition, right?
Right.
And maybe that's the only name that's the only guy I know, only person I know.
But he is saying that if you took that and rejuggled it out, she didn't get 61%. She may have been in a runoff. May have. So that's an interesting thing. Should they do everything to get the name off the ballot?
I don't know. The rules are the rules.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. We've got just a couple minutes. It's time for our Pet of the Week that's coming in. Rick, winners, losers, closers. What didn't we say? What didn't we talk about?
Let's see. President Trump just got on an airplane. He's going to go give the commencement speech at the Naval Academy. That's pretty cool. I think he'll get a warm reception.
You know, I'm going to let you continue with what you have, but you know, commencement speeches, we're missing Bill Cosby this year, Matt Lauer. Let's see, who else are we missing on commencement?
Well, I'll tell you who else we're missing. We're missing my loser of the week.
Charlie Rose.
We're missing
Charlie Rose is
right.
not on there.
We're missing my loser of the week, which is Harvey Weinstein. I mean, this guy is going to get excoriated when he's brought up on charges. I think. Yeah, he turned himself in to the New York Police Department. I just think that this guy is going to get beat pillar to post. Oh, yeah. But anyway, my winner, who we talked about earlier, is Cheryl Atkinson. She did a bang-up job for The Hill, writing that article. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just I keep going back to my 2 favorites right now, Cheryl Atkinson and Kimberly Strassel. Those two ladies are brilliant.
Yes, you should. We recommend, Rick and I both will recommend to you, keep up with Cheryl Atkinson and Kimberly Strassel of the Washington Post.
Yep.
Okay, but keep up with those two. They are probably doing
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. Kimberly Strassel, Wall Street Journal. They are doing probably the best work right now in actually what has taken place. Cheryl Atkinson wrote the article that we're talking about, where the 8 points, and it actually lays out a lot to you.
I mean, it's a quick read. If you missed it, go to The Hill, look under Cheryl Atkinson, read that. It's really informative, and you did a great job the other day, by the way, describing the definition of the deep state. So, I mean, you did a great job.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, folks, I don't have any winners and losers. My winners are the class of 2018. Whether you're graduating from college,
big night tonight, right?
Whether you're graduating from high school, that is our winner here. It's of my opinion, you have the brightest opportunities in front of you. I can't remember a graduating class either on the college level or high school level that is going to be able to walk out and obtain, and go after the American dream, because it's out there, folks. Okay, and please, just my recommendation: turn off the media that's betting against the nation. Don't worry, journalism, media should be investigating. They should be looking into. They should be stepping out there and going into uncharted waters and bringing us information, but not betting against our nation. So that you know who they are out there. Turn it off. You got a final word? You get to a final word. Word, 2, 3. Come on, what you got?
I did my winner and loser.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
I'm done.
All right. We're
nice
finished.
to be here.
We're finished, but that does not mean the show is over. Stay here just a couple minutes, because it's time for the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, our Pet of the Week. Yes? What? So you had another word. What do you have?
Art in the Park this weekend.
Arts in the Park.
Arts in the Park. Come on out. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. The weather's going to be fabulous.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Cut him off. Will you get the pet of the weekend?
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I've had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love, because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
Hey folks, we're back and it's Friday, end of the week, and we always like to round out our week with our pet of the week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. We're at Circuit World here in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. Hello, Rena, and this is Piper. Piper? Oh, it's a good puppy.
Piper's a good puppy.
How's the Piper?
Piper's almost 2. She'll be 2 in June, and she'll be with us a year in June. We really need to find her a home. Breed mix, you know, I don't know. We were thinking maybe some husky. We just don't really know.
Do you like it when somebody sings songs? Do you want to hear my song? Do you? Here, I wrote, no, it's not the Pup Pup. I wrote a new one. Who is the puppy in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. Who is the puppy in your neighborhood? You know, the puppy that you meet when you're walking down the street. The puppy that you see each day. Do you like that song? What's wrong with you? I think it's a good song.
Yeah, okay.
Piper paid attention.
She did.
Do you know what's funny? I have to say this. Lisa watches at home, and when we do this segment and the dogs hear my voice and then they hear me singing my puppy songs, they run over to the computer and sit there and they can tell. Yeah, they can tell.
Nice.
So sorry, Piper. Okay, what were you going to tell me?
Oh, I was going to say.
What was I supposed to be paying attention to?
I was going to say Piper would be a great dog for anyone.
Let me see if you'll be a great dog.
She loves to go riding
Yes,
in
you
the
will be
car.
a great dog. A good chopper.
She does. She's a little bit more hyper than most of the other dogs. So she might be good for hiking, but definitely a people dog. She wants to be with you.
1, 2, 3. Where'd it go?
Did you do?
1, 2, 3.
You're lucky. She's not mean.
I love this. The dogs know. They know.
Anyway,
I'm like a
Piper
dog
does
whisperer.
play with some of our dogs. She is picky with some dogs. So a meet and greet would definitely be a must.
Piper.
Which it is
Right here,
normally,
right here,
to make sure that she
Come here.
that she would get along with your dog.
1, 2, 3.
I really don't remember if I said she's going on 2. I can't remember what I said.
Okay, Piper,
he does that to me.
you can find Piper at the Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. That's their website, Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org, and also Facebook, Humane Society of Blue Ridge Facebook page. They have all kinds of great dogs and cats to choose from. As Rena was trying to tell you, and I have been so rude playing with the puppy. This is not my fault, folks. You and I both agree. You bring these puppies in here. It's not my fault for not paying attention. Right, Rena? See, now she's not paying attention.
Well, because she's
But
having trouble eating that last
we
bone you gave. That last
we
treat
have
you
to
gave.
plan a meet and greet. So you have to bring your dog up, because what we like to do is find their forever home. And we'd like to do that, and we like to plan a meet and greet. So the family, I think this is a great family dog.
Yes.
I think Piper is just as gentle and lovable and would be a great family dog. Now, I wasn't paying attention, but is she getting along with the other dogs? Or what are you
She does
seeing
get
there?
along with some. Remember Cindy and Sally? Sally got adopted. We still have Cindy. And her and Cindy have play dates, or whatever you call them. They play together out in the run. And Piper was actually with, she was with, I can't remember, Augie, I think, was
Yes,
a
I
good
remember.
one. And
Right.
the one that Rick took, I think we had called her Abby, but he called her Sadie? No. Anyway, whatever, Rick's dog. She was a good playmate for that. So, it's hit and miss. It depends on her. She'll tell you who she wants to be with. And we could tell right off the bat she liked both Cindy and Sally. So usually it's a dog that's about her same size that she likes. But she's, like I said, you come out and do a meet and greet. We'll see if they get along. Piper would be a great single dog also, just a one owner or one dog family. Yeah, I can't talk today. One dog in the family dog.
That's
because
okay.
she really loves being with the person, and she's a lot of fun. Like I said, she has some high energy. A fenced-in yard would be really good here. But she does love riding in the car. She loves her belly rub. She gives kisses. She's come a long way, and of course we do have training where we are training our dogs sit and lay down and manners.
Who the
and
puppy? Who the
we
puppy?
do that
Who the puppy?
weekly. So we do
Who the
work with all of our
puppy?
dogs individually.
Who the puppy?
And right now she's going to sleep.
Her smiling.
But
Her the good puppy.
she will be with us a year. I think I said that in June. So we really need, same as Buddy at Daytona. So we really need to find homes for our dogs. Lucy's been there a while.
Throw your paws in
We
the
still
air.
have Mom and the 7 puppies.
Wave them like you just don't care.
If you are interested in looking at the puppies, you can see them through the glass window, but you can't hold them right now. They're still in intake, but they are so adorable. And Mom, of course, she's heartworm positive, so she has to get medicine, and we'll get the treatments for her heartworms. And we just got a new one yesterday from Animal Control, and he's a hound mix. So we're full, but when you come, it doesn't look like it because we have some empty cages because we're waiting for the puppies to move over.
Rena, we thank you very much, and we thank all of the volunteers and employees out at the Humane. All right. We thank all the volunteers and the employees out at the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, and we thank you, Rena, for every week bringing us this beautiful pet to show our audience. Again, that's Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org, and also their Facebook page. And as you can see, Piper, let's see what she says. What? Are you done? That's Humane Society of Blue Ridge.org. Enjoy your beautiful Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy your beautiful Memorial Day weekend.
We will be closed Monday for Memorial Day.
And travel on up here to North Georgia. Forget those weather computer models, because we have Arts in the Park, and we've got all the way up 515. You can find great things to do. And for the weekend, come on up, join us. Let's have fun. That's our show. We've had a great week. I think we're done, Amanda. Anything else? Out of here.